Just a quick reminder to all of you who have started listening just today, but this is not a live read of a fic I like. This is a read of a fic I hate, but I'm only doing this to entertain and make you smile. So please, understand this. You choosing to listen to this is your fault. This is all your fault. This is all on you. You chose this. This is for you. You picked this. You could have been listening to the Questrious Rods 2 a couple of months ago, but no, you chose not to. You could have been listening to Luniverse, but no, you chose not to. You chose to listen to this. So remember, this story is not for you. Please move on. To the rest of you, here's more Nightmare Night and Nyx. Enjoy. It was a small rental cottage just the outside of town. The ponies that lived there only moved in a month or so prior. They kept their windows shuttered day and night, kept to themselves, quietly paid their rent by mail, rarely went out, and after the inevitable welcome to Ponyville assault by Pinkie Pie, never hosted any parties or had any guests. Today, though, their little house was bustling with ponies. The ponies who had arrived by ones and twos spoke to no pony who were ushered inside quickly. They now sat together in the darkened house. 12 of them gathered around a table as Celestia's day waned outside. The leader of the crew lit a candle in the middle of the table. "So, the time has finally come," he said. "We planned for tonight for months. Months stealing Spell Nexus's notes, gathering the components, infiltrating the workers of the castle. It all comes down tonight. Is everything in place for the ritual, Agent Tau?" Wow. Once again, the guys that are spying on our main six currently are Celestia's trusted advisors. And yet, we just see how easy it is to infiltrate. Again, do you not see the problem? "Yes, the components are hidden. The circles are laid out. Excellent. What about the target, Agent Beta?" "I have a targeting spell on her. It was placed while she was at school." "Good. Agent Gamma, do you have the disguises?" "What? Oh, that's me. Yeah." There was a rustling of cloth as several bundles were passed out. There was a long pause as every pony examined the disguise they were given. "I thought I told you to get item number 23. This is the robe costume with the featureless mask," he said. "Oh, come on, Sunday Spinkles. Coordinates only, Agent Gamma." "Oh, fine. Agent Alpha. Come on, those things cost 3 times as much as these." "The fate of Equestria is at stake. You're going to quibble over a few bits." "I didn't have enough. I had to go to the bargain bin to find something affordable." Angel Lambada put her hoof on Agent Alpha's shoulder. "Really, dear, it isn't all that important. These will do the trick." Agent Alpha sighed. "Fine, whatever." The circle of conspirators donned their disguises. They were now a circle of 12 ponies dressed in cheap-hooded ponchos and stiff cardboard masks. I hated these things as a foal. "Trace you the clown mask for your welcome back trotter." "Dear," Angel Lambada said hastily, Are we sure about this? Is it really necessary?" Alpha frowned behind his spider pony mask. "I know, dear, but this has to stop." "I know, I agree, but I got 4 more chapters before I, bring out the fun part." 3 times before Equestria, the whole world has faced this thing, only to escape by the skin of its teeth. All 3 times it escaped justice and threatened us again. Our rules are compassionate, but this time they let their compassion blind them. We have to take things into our own hooves. He put his hoof down on the table. "Tonight, we finally destroy Nightmare Moon." Oh, for Pete's sake. You know, reality check, we don't really need this. We don't really need this exciting story. We could just make it about Nyx having her first nightmare night. You know, a fun little happy story. We don't need this conspiracy. I don't want to be a bother or anything, but, is there any possible way we could get to the castle early, before dark? This for the buttercup yellow Pegasus fluttering by the salon door, where they could feed for the final fitting and prepare for the ball. It was the fourth time Fluttershy had asked every pony this in the past half hour, and even Rarity was finding trying.
Oh, honestly, Fluttershy, we'll look at this if it's down, I promise you. We all go together. We just have to finish getting ready for our dates arrive to pick us up.
Excuse me 1 second. Girls don't always need dates. My God, is this such an impossible concept to understand? This is what I loved about the episode with the Smooths. The girls decided to have fun on their own with their sisters. They didn't need dates. Also, I just thought about something with Fluttershy. We already saw that while she was willing to try Nightmare Night once, she found out she didn't enjoy it. That is okay. That's why I liked that episode. It was a really, really good lesson for people to understand. That you can try something once, you can find out you don't like it, or you can find out that you do like it, and it's just not for you. You can do that. It's perfectly okay. And I like that episode. It's a very important lesson to learn. Just because you like something doesn't mean it has to be necessarily completely for you. You can choose not to do it. It's fine. I think more people need to learn this lesson. Since the moment Rarity had learned about the Masquerade Ball, she had basically commandeered the whole thing. She had streamrolled the other elements of Harmony into letting her handle all the details. Her moaning faces were simple and clear. All the Ponyvilles of Ponyville will all be there, so would a huge portion of the Canterlot upper crust. Rarity had learned the hard way twice that her friends, dear as they were to her, did not have the tiniest twinkling clue as how to behave around society. She was not going to go through another Grand Galloping Gala disaster, and the best way to prevent that was to put her hoof down to start. She had finessed her way into handling all the details this time, designing their costumes, arranging transportation, even going so far as to threaten to select dates for them if they found none themselves. So, let me guess, this isn't so much how you want Rarity to do the dates. This isn't Rarity wanting to make sure that this goes perfectly. This is you, Reality Check, wanting to make sure that this goes perfectly. Whereas a lot of people would enjoy that finale because it wasn't exactly what the girls wanted, and that would be a good lesson to learn, to find ways to have your own fun during that time, during a boring event. But, no, you do you. I'm quite curious. And, this is funny coming from a guy who hates that finale. Oh, it's a great episode. I just don't like it as a finale. I prefer Return of Harmony. Thank you very much. But, really, Rarity should know better. This feels like she's absorbing all their fun for herself. And this is too selfish of Rarity. I'm sorry. Once again, out of character. Point of order, she ended up doing for several of them. She had, with the aid of Big Macintosh and Granny Smith, who darn well wanted great-grandchildren before she keeled over, forced Applejack to leave both work and her apple treat cart at home for once so she could pay attention to her date. Yeah, because I bring it there every single time. And threatening to hideous retribution on Pinkie Pie, she attempted anything resembling a stage dive, or even thought of bringing her party can.
That's it! No deal!
Beyond that, it had been surprisingly easy to get the others to go along with her plans. It was making Rarity a bit suspicious.
Tell me, Fluttershy idea, she said casually. You normally spend Nightmare Night shut up in your cause. Even I'm surprised I managed to talk you into coming.
So am I. Fluttershy landed on the floor bashfully with one hoof.
Yes, I do, but even sleeping at home all curled up in my bed with my little animal friends around, it isn't very much fun.
That's right, folks. Remember, if you're the type of person who just once in a while prefers to have a quiet night alone with, say, animals or a book, you're not having fun. You should do what everybody else wants to. That's right. Don't be a unique individual. Be one of the crowd.
I figured it might be okay just this once since we're all together and inside a nice safe palace just this once.
She dimpled a smile.
Besides, it's kind of hard to be scared of Nightmare Moon when you've babysat her a few times.
The others laughed at that. She had mentioned that Nightmare Moon had been by her place earlier that week, and had seamlessly exploited her big, white, dewy eyes with Fluttershy had fearfully admitted to backing out.
But then, you'll miss out on the party, Nyx said. And Mommy would be really sad you didn't go.
Fluttershy had folded like wet toast. I'm more surprised than these two, Applesack said from the hoof-cube bench, playing at Rainbow Dash and Pinkie Pie. At least you two going out missing pranking or trick-or-treating? Des was laying her back as Alice smoothed her mane. She gave Applesack a wide grin.
Alright, taken care of,
the Pegasus said. Got a super cool idea from a book I read.
You read a book?
Rarity blurted out. Yeah, you know she does, Rarity.
Yeah, I read a book. Anyway, Pinkie and I went ahead and set up all sorts of pranks over a town in advance.
That's not really a good explanation. Well, what's the point of that? You won't be able to say it.
That's the cool part, Des said. I wired all the pranks with cameras. When somebody trips a booby trap, it'll set off a camera and take their picture just as it happens. I'll have a whole Nightmare Night photo album of funny pictures to enjoy for a whole year. It'll be awesome! Anyways, trick-or-treating starts 2 whole hours before the party at the castle does. Pinkie sighed. There's still gonna be lots of time for trick-or-treating. But not as much as normal because there's cake and punch at the party and that kind of makes up for it. But I'm still gonna get lots of trick-or-treating to see it before the party.
Again, not really that good of an explanation. Let me explain why Ashley's dress is a banana, Applesack said. It's true. Pinkie Pie was currently wearing an enormous banana costume. Only her face and legs were showing through the holes. Without warning, she slipped across the room, and Applesack suddenly found herself nose to nose with the pink pony. Pinkie bugged her eyes out.
Tell me, do you like...
This meme is old and I refuse to finish! Alright, it was old, it's done! It's a dead horse!
Ooh, that's a bringer. Trixie is a zombie. You wouldn't dare beat her now, would you?
No, I wouldn't, Trixie. Here, have a peanut butter cracker.
Yum. Trixie loves it.
Am I the only one disturbed by the fact that we did not find her garb unusual? No, I'm just surprised nobody's going off dressed as an anime character, considering the fact that Fluttershy is a freaking anime fan.
And darn proud of it. I'm going this year as Utena.
Oh, really?
No, actually, I wanted to go as Rosalie from Rose of Versailles.
Oh, I see. Daz, who did you decide to go with?
Oh, I decided to keep an eye with Fluttershy, and I decided to dress up as Oscar.
Wait. Let me get this straight. Dash, you're dressed up as Oscar.
Yep.
And Fluttershy's dressed up as Rosalie.
Mm-hmm.
For Rose of Versailles.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I'll give you that one, Rarity said, looking at the window. The sun was about to set. Do go on, Pinkie. Just be back in time for Twilight and I to do the final touches on your costume.
Pinkie bounced into the air and glee took off. There was a streak of yellow. The front door slammed as she was gone.
Come on, Twilight, what's taking so long? Put on your costume, come out so we can see you. A voice came from the monster screen. I will as soon as you tell me where the rest of it is, Twilight said sarcastic. What happened to it? Oh, a little nippy and tucked there. Why, a little too racy for you. This thing isn't racy. Rainbow Dash is racy. This is outright scandalous. Wait a minute, Rainbow Dash said, threw a towel around her mane. That better be a pun, sister. Oh, you know what I mean, Twilight said. Another irritator like clever wordplay falling flat. I can't go out like this. What would Flash Sentry think if he saw me like this? What are you worried about? Applejack said, amused. You're racing and like it. Arrgh! The girls all laughed mercilessly. Oh, do come out, dear. The night is wasting, Rarity said. All right, Twilight says. He stepped around the mossy screen. Well... Oh, Twilight, you look wonderful, Flashlight breathed, clapping her hose together. She was quite right. Twilight was in a vision of midnight in silver. Her mane was done up by Aloe and Lois in a ballerina bun at the base of her neck. Her back hose were solid slippers of sparkling indigo, trimmed with silver filigree. Thin ankles of silver and indigo hung around her forehose. Her masquerade was a mask of the same make, butterfly shaped, sweeping up into the corners of long, gracefully arched antennae. The gown itself was a tribute to minimalism, more of a little black dress in size than a ball gown. It was dark midnight with indigo sparkles, and wrapped around the back of her neck and crossed under her barrel, leaving her shoulders and back bare to almost to the root of her tail, with flying a translucent ruffled skirt that only just covered her key mark. Nyx's pendant hung around her neck, shining like an indigo scar, matching earrings that only heaven knew how rare to be procured from her dangled from her ears. Whoa! You sure you don't want to borrow my baseball bat, Twilight? Rainbow Dash teased. Flash gets a look at you. You're gonna have to club him senseless to keep his hose off of you. Rainbow! Twilight frustrated. Oh, don't mind the idea, Rarity said. So he seems to only pick stallions who are completely uncouth. There was a cough from a corner that sounded suspiciously like Prince Bluebud. Rarity ignored her. Come, dear, add the final touch. Since we're probably gonna go straight with straight Rainbow Dash, here's hoping it's Soren. He's the only male except for Dashie. Alright then, Twilight said. She closed her eyes, began to concentrate. The tip of her horn began to glow, dimly at first, then rapidly brighter. A ribbon of glary light began unfurling from the base of her horn, spiraling out around her as she rose off the ground, wrapping her in a cocoon of light. There was a brilliant flash. Well, how did he look? The arrows blinked the spots out of their eyes, and gasped. Sykes alive, Applejack said, getting to her feet. They're prettier than the first time y'all did this. Surprised, Twilight opened her eyes. She realized she was now hovering, or more accurately, fluttering a few feet off the ground. She hiccuped in surprise and dropped to the floor, stumbling a bit, looked back at her new wings. Two enormous swallowtail butterfly wings now sprouted from her shoulders. They are transparent as stained glass, and faded from dark indigo with the edges to a rich, deep blue near the roots. Tiny glittering sparkles dusted them, making it look like she had wings cut out of the midnight sky. Oh, the UCC swallowtail, Flashlight said. A very lovely butterfly. I hope my wings are as nice. Rarity squealed with glee, to laugh at your host. Oh, we're all going to outdazzle everybody there, she said. With sounds of agreement went up all around. Say, Twilight, aren't you getting ready a little early? Dash said. The ball ain't for 2 hours, after all. Well, Twilight said, blushing and pawing the ground with a hoof. I'm going out a little early, too. It's Nyx's first nightmare night, and I want to be there for at least some of it. That and Flash Sentry offered to walk us both around while Nyx and the CMC are trick-or-treating. A chorus of oohs went up. Twilight went blushed even more. There was a knock at the door. Flashlight went to answer it. Who is it? She said timidly. It's, Inkspot. Came the answer. May I come in? I'm here to pick up Twilight. Flashlight smiled and opened the door. Goodness, you're just in time to... She stopped mid-sentence, eyes wide and said, excuse me a moment. She hastily set the door, laying her back against it, and let out the most unflashlight shriek of laughter any pony had ever heard. The others nearly jumped out of their skins. Sakes alive, girl, what's that for?
Applejack said. No answer was forthcoming. Fluttershy just sat there, hose crammed against her mouth, eyes dancing with glee. She practically struggled to control herself. Then, giggling to fit the bus, she got to her feet.
Come on in, Inkspot,
she said, opening the door. Quiet, the stallion said, stepping aside. I say, what was, all that? Oh my. He and Twilight locked gazes and looked over each other for, my word. The reason for Fluttershy's outburst was clear. Twilight's date for the evening was wearing a pith helmet, a khaki shirt and shorts, a monocle, and a ludicrous, enormous mustache that covered half his face. An enormous butterfly net straight across his back. Strapped to one hip was a book titled Field Guide to Butterflies. I honestly forgot that he dressed up like this before I picked the Jeff Goldblum voice. There was a moment's silence. Then Inkspot said the only thing he could. I think I'm going to need a bigger net. The room exploded with laughter. When the laughter finally down, Inkspot grinned and tipped his pith helmet to a madly blushing Twilight. So we go? She dimpled and nodded and wiped out the door. Rarity was bouncing with glee.
Oh, tonight it's going to go perfectly, she said.
Applejack chuckled wryly. Yep, all that's left is wait for things to fly to smithereens.
Well, that's not very positive.
Applejack chuckled again. Come on, y'all. This is us here. We done this two-step often enough to know the other hoof has got to come down sooner or later. Ain't nothing we gone through before. It ain't hurting fun none. Ella and Lois finished bringing Applejack's mane and tail. She got to her feet and gave Rarity a suspicious look. I swear to Celestia, if the name on that invitation isn't martial art fruit user to date Applejack, I am going to be mad. Now, I wouldn't go and spice up the rest of her outfits like you did Twilight's, now would you, Rarity? I swear, Fick, if Rarity didn't invite me to date Applejack, I am going to be miffed.
Sorry, martial art fruit user. Tracy thinks that your mail got lost.
What? Derpy!
I'm looking for your invitation. Oh, it's here somewhere.
Guys, we'll find out if I'm the one dating Applejack sooner or later. Rarity stuck out her lower lip and gave Applejack the most sincere, innocent look of her life.
Oh, now you win me, Applejack, she said. I may have altered a bit here and there, and I did have to make them look more or less smart, didn't I?
She started shifting the farm, pointing back behind the screen.
And as if it would be the worst thing in the world to look appealing for the nice young stallions at the party. Now, come on. We all want to be dressed and ready for Twilight to return and give us our wings.
Applejack's eyes wide in alarm. Of the six of them, she was second only to Rainbow Dash and dreaded being gussied up and girlified. She braced her feet to no avail. The cows gave no purpose, and she skidded across the floor and behind the mossy screen by iron-willed Rarity. Now, hold on there, Sally! Rainbow Dash cackled as Applejack disappeared behind the screen.
Rarity's head reappeared. Don't laugh too hard, dearie, she said, giving Dash a malevolent smile. You're next.
A hunchback and an owl stood outside the library door. No, that wasn't the opening line of a joke. No reality check. Your jokes aren't as funny. That was how Spike was spending the Star Nightmare night. He tapped his foot and paisley glared up at Nyx's window. Come on, Nyx, the guys are going to be here any minute.
Okay, I'm coming, Nyx called out.
Hey, guys, remember how on Fall of Starfleet, I actually put an effort to give the girls different costumes and came up with different themes and made them all references? Yeah. So he'd taken a few minutes to find Mom's copy of A Brief History of Time and put his carry strap around her waist. It turned out Dinky hadn't wanted it after all, so he grabbed her trick-or-treat bag, an old cloth bag Mom had given her, and climbed out the window, closed it behind her, and jumped. Spike gave a strangled yelp, but the little alicorn flared deceitfully to the ground. Don't do that to me, he said angrily.
I have wings, you know,
Nyx said sarcastically. Yeah, right, rub it in, Spike grumbled. He took a second look at his sister. Well, cool costume, he said. Aloysius hooted in agreement.
Thanks,
Nyx said, preening a little.
So you made good use of her time, scrounging through Mom's old vintage clothes, a few penny shopping trips to the vintage clothes store, and Rarity's pile of old discards. She's wearing a sleeveless leotard of pale moon cloth that glittered faintly in the lamplight. A frilled skirt transparent white cloth. Her back feet were shod in matching pale boots with a flared buccaneer top. One of Rarity's old cast-offs when he was a filly. When Nyx had found them, Rarity referred to them as simply dreadful and given them away. Her front ankles were adorned with several grim-cracked trinkets and ever-brand globe bracelets, and a matching like 80s style wrapped around her waist. From one on her hip hung her mother's travel hand copy of A Brief History of Time. From the other on her right hip hung her mother's ever-running hourglass, the tricky stand glowing faintly in the moonlight. Her normal hair beret had been replaced with a plain tiara, and a Sarah Jam replaced with a wristwatch face and glass he had saved from Mr. Talk's brass bin. They too glowed, thanks to the glow and the dark stickers she put behind him. She looked, in her opinion, futury.
So you're supposed to be some sort of time princess? Spike haphazard.
Nyx nodded. Pulling for the future, but close enough. She said. She pointed at Spike. What's your costume? Oh, Quasimodo?
Spike looked down at himself. He was dressed in a raggy peasant's clothes made from a burlap sack, tied at the waist with a length of rope. He had an enormous hump on his back, and mossy-looking wings sitting on his head like a depressed bird's nest. Not exactly, he said. Snails and I are going to go for a themed costume prize. We're going Thranky Pony. He cackled and waved his claws. It would work if, they didn't want to be book accurate. Nyx giggled. This is going to be the monster. Snails is going to be the mad scientist. You can guess what that makes me.
Nyx giggled. I don't know, but I bet you have a hunch, she said.
Spike groaned and facepalmed. Even Al wished his face swing. Oh,
come on, it was funny. But what about Pee-wee? Is he going to stay here by himself?
Spike shook his head and peeled back the punch on a stump. Underneath the cloth, it was actually a wicker bird cage with a little nest in it, and Pee-wee sleeping comfortably. I was going to make an extra storage space for more candy, but I decided I want to leave Pee-wee all alone, Spike said, pulled the cloth back in place. Pee-wee sheepishly was still. Oh, hey there! There they are! Hey guys! Spike waved at the two colts trying their way. It was Snips and Snails, all right. Snails was wearing a white lab coat, black rubber boots, and a pair of goggles pushed up on his forehead. Snips was wearing a square Frankenpointy forehead, both stuck on either side of his neck. He was dressed in a brown suit with 5 seconds too large that was padded out with newspaper. Looked like it had been cut apart and screwly stitched back together. All 4 of his hose were shod in enormous work boots that made him stand almost as tall as his lanky friend.
Hey, Spike! Hey, Ulysses! Hey, Nyx! Snips said. Guess we need to go trick-or-treating?
Spike laughed. You better believe it, or as they say, yes, master. He groaned, lurching over to Snails' side. Snails yelped, yes, my loyal assistant Igor, fetch the brains. Oh yeah, I forgot. Spike ran back indoors and came back carrying out a shopping bag in one hand. A jar tucked under her head. It was full of liquid. Inside was something pink and squishy. It swished around in fluid.
That's not a real brain, is it?
Nyx said, pointing a hoof in alarm. Nah, it's made of rubber, Spike said. I bought it at a junk stop and stuck it in a jar full of water. Pretty cool, huh?
Wait, I got an idea.
Snips began to fussing around maniacally through his costume. He peeled out 2 or 3 plastic cars.
Open the jar and pull out the water.
Puzzle Spike complied. Snips broke the tubes in half and poured the liquid from the tubes onto the silhouette brain.
Okay, cool. Now shake it up and shake it.
Spike popped the cork on the jar and shook it. The oozing liquid dribbled over the brain and began to glow with sickly green light.
Ooh, cool.
Spike and Snails stared in trance.
Now it looks all mad sciencey.
What were those things? Nyx asked.
Glow sticks, Nyx said. My mom wanted me to use them so I didn't trip over nothing in the dark. And, well, this way we still are.
He laughed. He was right. The brain in the jar was now glowing brightly enough to serve as a lamp on its own.
Yeah, it's all glowing and slimy and cool looking too,
Spike enthused. He had to the job.
Not to mention later.
He tapped a light of twain around the neck of the jar and dangling from one arm like a lantern.
I am a genius.
It's too bad we don't have more glowing paint or nothing, Snails said. Then we can put on my mad science clothes and say it was monster brain juice or something. Or put it around Sniff's Frankie Pony scars to say it was oozing monster blood.
Nyx rolled her eyes and stuck her tongue. She had been an alter ego to a 1,000-year-old cosmic presence, and the reincarnation of an evil magical queen. Grayskull feel it too. Through all that, she learned certain about the universe. Boys were gross.
Nyx, your best friends with Scootaloo. Shut up!
You wanna go trick-or-treating with us, Nyx? Nyx shook her head. No, thank you. I'm waiting for the other King Record singers to pick me up.
Oh, where they gonna pick you up in there?
All the girls put in.
What the heck was that?
Spike said, "Look out in the dark. Whatever it was making that noise was getting closer. Something large and oddly lit was rolling down the hill for 3 outbreakers, making their way." Nyx looked where they were staring. "Oh, that's my ride," she said happily. "Hey, guys." She hopped up down, waving. There was enormous clattering noise and more wound gun noises. Dozens of excited voices of the contraption pulled in front of the library. Snips, Snails, and Spike were overwhelmed in the presence of wheels, blinking lights, bubbly attendants, and clerks' faces. "Hop on, Nyx. Hop on. We're gonna be late." "I need costumes, y'all." "Yeah, I really like your brain." Thanks." Nyx happily hopped aboard the confusing thing. "Come on now, let's go." The owl hood and flapped over her parts on a very secure strut. "See you later, Spike. Snips, Snails. Happy night, night, night." The contraption began to roll off, leaving the 3 young pony villains in his wake. Snips, Snails, and Spike stood there for a moment. Jaws slack. Spike clutched his forgotten brain in his claws. Snips snapped out of his stupor first and took a few steps towards the departing humor Crusader's discretion. "Hey, wait! Can we get a lift?" "Oh."